The History of South Africa from 1902 to Present. It looks like a great book for the introduction to what's going on as to how we got here. One of the things I've learned now is like a full time traveler experiencing different places in different countries. It's definitely great to have an idea of at least like what has occurred in the last 100 years of a country's history. Stop worrying, start living. Because no matter how much you worry, life is passing you by. Because let me tell you about my testimony, okay? Culture is such an amazing thing. The way we all consume and digest and project culture is so intriguing to me. So this is cool. This is unique to hear. It's amazing, the power of literature. I don't know. Kind of nerding out. Kind of nerding out. A lot to take in. But once upon a time, Empress Kino wandered into an exclusive bookstore in Johannesburg and currently in South Africa nerding out at an exclusive bookstore. I don't know how we got here, but we here. That's cool. Stephen Bartlett's Diary of a CEO book. I watch this channel sometimes. Very insightful stuff, especially if you're an entrepreneur. This looks like an interesting read. One of the things I do whenever I visit a new city is visit the local library. We attempted to visit the local library yesterday, but they're closed until after the holiday season. So I'm here in an exclusive bookstore and like losing my mind a little bit, you know? So I thought I would bring y'all along for the ride. Just taking in all of the different covers. Being inspired by what looks familiar, what looks new, and what looks unique to South Africa. Very cool stuff. I personally think you can tell about a lot about what's going on in society if you visit a local mall, as well as get a glimpse at the CBD. But most importantly, take a look at the public library, the local library. If there isn't a public library, that tells us a lot right there. And if there isn't a library, let's check out whatever is available as far as literature. So right now we're in a store, just taking it all in. This is a great book. Blink is very good. I read this maybe like 12 years ago. I remember somebody made a joke, one of my doctor friends was like, haha, every time I see you, you're reading one of your self-help books. And I don't know. I've been able to help myself. I firmly believe that nobody can help us better than we can help ourselves. You know, we have to choose to want more, we have to desire more, and we have to know what more looks like. And even if we don't, we have to be willing to explore to figure out what it is. At least that's how I live my life. It's a very good book. I didn't finish it, but I read quite a bit of it. I don't even think I realized she wrote another, The Light We Carry. I wonder if it's before or after Becoming. But Becoming was pretty big. They did a huge press run for that. When I was younger, I used to digest 2 novels and a nonfiction every week. And ever since then, I always tell myself, one day I'm going to write a book. I'm going to write a novel. And shortly before creating this channel, I published my very first ebook that I wrote myself. And ever since then, I just been having so much fun and learning how to express myself in so many different mediums. But nothing does it like reading a good book. I watched a Viola Davis interview not that long ago. She's very interesting, very excellent, charismatic speaker too, in addition to being a great actress. But like very, very interesting woman. Speaking of charismatic speakers, King Day's around the corner. How to stop worrying and start living. This looks interesting. All I know is if you don't live, you're gonna miss life. No matter if you worry or not. Where we come, where we go, but life, you only get one of these things. And let me tell you, this idea gets more refined with every experience that I have. Stop worrying. Start living. Because no matter how much you worry, life is passing you by. Maybe one day I'll be wandering in one of these bookstores and see my own book. Ego is the enemy. Boy, 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 look at here. Is it? The obstacle is the way. The timeless art of turning trials into triumph. I almost want to shout. Because let me tell you about my testimony, okay? Eastern philosophy, everyday stoicism, when things don't go your way. The things you can see only when you slow down. That's a whole word in itself. Because I've learned the power of going fast, but there's a lot of power in going slow as well. I learned that in Tanzania. Pole pole, slow, slow. Good vibes, good life. How self love is the key to unlocking your greatness. I like that. If you don't know, this channel is all about self care, self love, my self love development journey, and documentation along the way. You can manifest your everything. I believe that now more strongly than ever before, for sure. African art history, art history section. It's cool. I like that. It's a nice looking bookstore. As I make my way through it, it's a lot to take in. So, like, culture is such an amazing thing. The way we all consume and digest and project culture is so intriguing to me. They have a really nice big reading area for like festivities and children. Ah, it's all like African fiction. Okay, so let's go check this out. So this is Afrikaans books. So this is cool. This is unique to here. I've never been a place that would have reason to have an Afrikaans section before. Very interesting. There's just some South African fiction, African fiction. Pan-African writings. More South African fiction. Then we got some African history, philosophy studies, pictorial sciences and things. So let's see what we got going on over here in South African fiction. The Heart of Redness. That looks interesting. Bantu Nuts. Love a good cover. Love a good cover. Ooh, look at that. Bear. It's a bestseller. Global Africa. So these are plain African. Everything is not enough. Oof. That's loud. I don't even need to read the synopsis of that. That title said a lot. New Daughters of Africa. Very interesting. Maya. Heart of a Woman. Angela, I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings. I read this book when I was, I want to say 12 or 13 years old. It's quite a book for a 12 or 13-year-old to read. But every time I think of her name, different imagery from that particular book comes to mind. It's amazing the power of literature and how that works. The Girl with the Louding Voice. Ooh, I like that. Sounds familiar, actually. In Such Tremendous Heat. The Sex Lives of African Women. Ooh, that's intriguing. I always like finding out different cultural things that you don't get to hear people discuss in just random everyday conversation about like just general things. Like things are different. People, how they handle their sex lives, how they handle their relationships with their parents and their siblings, how they go have relationships with food and their bodies and all these different things that I have awareness of from my angle, from my aspect of culture, but not from theirs. And I'm very intrigued to know. Goddesses, Traveler. I think I've seen this with someone else too. Betting on a Darkie. Whoa. Legends. People who changed South Africa for the better. Oh, this is interesting. So this is definitely something unique to South Africa. Of course, we recognize Nelson Mandela's face front and center. 8 Zulu Kings. The only thing I knew about the Zulu people prior to coming here is like the synopsis of the story of Shaka Zulu that they teach us in Pan African history as an African American. I'm very curious to see like a lot of cultural impact and context that I have not been able to consume elsewhere, that I'll be able to get like right on the ground. Relation is ungood and other sexual truths. The History of South Africa from 1902 to present. That looks like a great book for the introduction to what's going on as to how we got here. One of the things I've learned now is like a full-time traveler experiencing different places in different countries. It's definitely great to have an idea of at least like what has occurred in the last 100 years of a country's history when you get to go visit there. Lots and lots of cool stuff. A lot to take in. But once upon a time, Empress Kino wandered into an exclusive bookstore in Johannesburg, and she had a great time wandering around and filming and sharing with her friends. And until next time that we meet again, I want you all to practice self-care, listen to your needs daily, do it every day, and read a book.